Hey, 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 what's happening, guys? What's going on YouTube? What's cracking? It's Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of Side Hustle Tuesdays, part of our side hustling series. And today's episode is episode 103. Today's story is about a software engineer who started an aftermarket car parts and car accessory business, and who, after a few years at it, is looking at leaving his day job and pursuing this full time. If you are new to our side hustling series, Side Hustle Tuesdays, tune in every Tuesday where you can hear stories about real life entrepreneurs and side hustlers who have started a side hustle, started a business outside of their 9 to 5 job with little upfront costs and little risk. If you haven't seen all the episodes, I'll put a link to the playlist down below where you can catch more episodes or revisit episodes that you've already listened to for some inspiration. Anyhow, let's get into today's story. Today's story is about a side hustler who creates a do-it-yourself tune-up kit for car enthusiasts, whose favorite part about running a side hustle is getting that cha-ching notification that his products have sold, as well as packing up and shipping orders. I have to say that was always my favorite part of e-commerce as well. I always have a cash register cha-ching alert noise set up, and I love hearing it go off. I love hearing it go off because that means I'm making money. I also enjoy packing up and shipping out orders. The bigger the pile of orders is, the better the day it is. I can definitely relate to this, as I think for myself and a lot of us, the most exciting and rewarding part of a side hustle is that you're doing something for yourself. You're doing something where you're going to reap all the benefits, and you also have a much closer connection to your product as well as your customers than most people will ever have from working a day job. And it's kind of rewarding knowing that your customers are not only willing to take out their credit cards and give you money, but that they're happy and enjoying the products that you created or the products that you brought them. Today's side hustler is Dustin Davis. By day, Dustin is a software engineer. By night, he's an entrepreneur, a side hustler, and an e-commerce store owner who owns a store selling aftermarket car parts, which is a popular hustle, and which many people would probably think is a saturated market. Dustin's no stranger to side hustles or entrepreneurship. At the tender age of 13, he was selling bootleg CD-ROMs, or bootleg software on CD-ROMs, I should say. He later started a printer maintenance and repair business where he didn't actually do any work. He'd hire out contractors to do the work, and he'd just schedule appointments and send invoices. So Dustin is no stranger to launching side hustles. Now, when we talk about entrepreneurship and side hustles, we often hear conflicting advice. Some people say to look at your hobbies, look at your interests and things that you're passionate about, and that'll give you a leg up. We also hear other people say that you shouldn't limit yourself by looking only at your hobbies and interests, and that there may not be a market there. And just because you like something doesn't mean you're actually going to be good at it. I think both sides of this argument are valid. I definitely think there's something to be said for not only looking at your passions. That said, in today's world where every company is a media company, there's definitely something to be said for working in a space where you're knowledgeable or interested and can more easily create content or relate to customers. I also think it helps knowing an industry, knowing the challenges that people face, knowing their pain points and the problems that they encounter, and that's actually what really helped Dustin launch his side business. Dustin himself is a car enthusiast, and he had just recently bought a sport car, and on the weekends for fun, he would take it out to a local track. Dustin noticed that at higher speeds, he would have trouble shifting due to the cheap factory parts that the car was made with. Production cars obviously are meant to go around town, not to fly around racetracks. Dustin looked for parts or kits to solve the problem, but everything either didn't suit his needs or was incredibly expensive. Dustin wound up finding a way to make the product he needed and built his own prototype, which was an engine leash. It involved an engine leash, 2 brackets, and a steel cable. His solution solved his problem, and the best part, he built it for under $100 with parts he found at Home Depot, whereas similar solutions cost more than 3 times that. With that $100, he had built his fix, and he even had leftover materials to build more. Now, being a car enthusiast, Dustin was a member of some car forums. I'd like to interrupt the story here to comment on something. I'm a huge fan of forums, though they are kind of falling out of favor in favor of social media. Forums are a great place to connect with others interested in the same specific hobbies or niches as you. I used to be a part of a motorcycle forum called Intruder Alert, where everybody on the forum owned the same motorcycle as me, a Suzuki Intruder, also known as a Suzuki VS800. You could ask about problems you had with your bike, get people to help you troubleshoot issues, You could see people's modifications and parts and accessory recommendations. Anyhow, forums can be a great way to find problems that other people are having and are a great way to find potential products that you could create to solve these problems. So Dustin posted his mod in a car forum and a DIY tutorial and began getting a lot of positive feedback from other forum members. They liked that his fix was easy to make, easy to install, and was a fraction of the cost of other solutions out there. Dustin then decided to offer his mod for sale and had a few buyers immediately. Now Dustin was able to put together his engine leash, again with some parts from Home Depot and some modding himself. Once he sold a few and made some profit, he knew he was onto something, and he found someone to laser cut a piece for him instead of him having to cut it out himself. This not only sped up production and improved the quality of his engine leash as well. One of the great things about Dustin's business was it didn't take much marketing. The product essentially sold itself, and people recommended it to friends and referred friends to his site. Now, as far as what an engine leash is, I'm not really a car guy. I'm not really into racing. So even after talking to Dustin and researching engine leashes, I'm a little bit clueless, but from what I can gather, I guess at high speeds, as well as making aggressive turns around tracks, your engine and transmission can shift. So I guess an engine or transmission leash kind of replaces brackets or blocks that people would previously put in their cars, which I guess caused a lot of vibration. So I guess this just keeps your engine and tranny in place, and I guess helps your car going at higher speeds in racing. Continuing on, Dustin decided to create more products, some of which he customizes himself, and others which he orders from China. Now, customers could very easily buy these products themselves, but people get excited about working on their cars, or they don't want to wait weeks to get back out onto the track, so most people are willing to pay his 25% markup to not have to wait. And also, they know they're getting a good quality part, whereas otherwise, ordering parts from China can be kind of hit or miss in terms of quality. So Dustin's entire startup costs were only $100. Once the business became established, he continued to reinvest into other products, as well as ordering products from suppliers. To date, he's invested about $15,000 into the business and a website, research and development, trying to formulate new parts, as well as ordering new parts, not all of which wind up working out. And creating new products for his site. The good thing about this, so none of this money is coming out of Dustin's own pocket. The business pays for himself. He's reinvesting the profits back into the business. Today, Dustin is making $4,000 to $6,000 a month, and he recently had some of his best months ever. This past September, they did $11,000 in profits, and in October, they did $13,000. But month to month, it's averaging about $4 to $6K. Now, no side hustle goes without having some challenges. Early on, Dustin had some competitors trolling him and talking bad about his products. The product quality, however, speaks for itself, so that wasn't a huge problem. Dustin's biggest problem has been suppliers. As a smaller startup, his supplier orders are smaller, typically under $10,000. So when manufacturers have bigger clients, he's the last one on the totem pole and often gets overlooked. He's even had some suppliers just ghost him and just go silent and never talk to him again. But yeah, whenever a larger company comes and places a big order, Dustin's orders kind of wind up getting put on the back burner. So this has been his biggest challenge to date, dealing with unreliable vendors. As for Dustin's plans moving forward, he's looking to leave his 20-plus year career in technology to move full-time into the auto industry. He has more products that he wants to launch, but right now he just doesn't have the time. One area I think Dustin could focus on is improving his website. Well, Dustin's done a fantastic job of launching his business. His website leaves a little something to be desired. It's a little basic and a little ugly, and though many people say that ugly sites sell, there are some critical elements missing from his site, like a search function, proper navigation, and an easy way to get back to the home page from product pages. In his defense, I will say that for whatever reason, auto parts stores are typically pretty bad or pretty ugly and look like templates. It'll be interesting to see how far Dustin can take this business once he leaves his day job and has more time to focus on the business. Dustin says while he makes more money at his day job, the satisfaction he gets from the side hustle far surpasses it, and he's finally at the point where it's grown to the point where he can live off the side hustle. Anyhow, guys, that's today's episode of Side Hustle Tuesdays and our side hustling series. Until next time, this is Rules for Rebels and Side Hustle Tuesdays, signing out.